We're all facing a new pandemic these days. It's a pandemic of fear and anxiety. We'll have a dose of optimism next on The Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is The Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, to some degree, all of us have been thrown off our game by the pandemic. There's a new pandemic of fear and anxiety, and no matter how confident you were before the pandemic, to a certain extent, we've all been traumatized by it. To talk about that today, Dr. Joe Vitale. He is a spiritual teacher and president of Hypnotic Marketing Incorporated. Joe, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, been looking forward to this moment.
Well, give us some words of inspiration, because I think all of us, no matter how confident we were before the pandemic, we all got thrown off our game.
Yeah, me too. And the pandemic put a big stop to my travels, which were my biggest income from speaking around the world. And I also went through a divorce, also went through the death of my father, also went through the death of my best friend, also went through attempted suicide of a family member, also developed a new relationship with a person who got neuro-Lyme disease and was on her deathbed. And I was her caretaker while grieving, while going through pandemic and everything else. So I think I've learned a thing or two about being knocked around by life, being knocked down and then having to get back up again, staggering, disoriented, and trying to find my way. So here's a few things. The first is one day at a time. It's all fine. One day at a time. When you get up, you look at today, you look at what you need to do today. You don't worry about yesterday or tomorrow. You don't go too far into the future. You handle what needs to be handled today, and you know you can do it. Second thing is, I got a lot from Stoicism, and the Stoics had gone through far worse times than what we went through. And people like Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who was the poster boy for Stoicism, said, if it's endurable, then endure it and stop complaining. What we're going through is endurable. There was a pandemic 100 and some years ago, worse than this one. And we didn't have the internet. We didn't have things like what we're doing right now, doing Zoom interviews and staying in contact with people. We are actually better off than people in other times and other centuries going through other stuff. So realizing that we can be grateful for what we do have will help boost our enthusiasm here. And the third thing that I would offer is, as much as we want to focus on today and we want to be grateful for today, we also want to have an eye towards the future. What do you want to create? When I was going through my divorce, which ended up being a persecution of my life and business and was destroying me emotionally and financially, I asked one of my attorneys, what's the best advice you ever heard on getting through this? And he thought and he said, focus on the future. Where do you want to go? What do you want to build? And those are the three things that I would give to people right now going through our shared experience of a pandemic.
I've got to say, it's probably even tougher for somebody like you because everybody's turning to you for leadership. They want to see a strong leader. What's it like to be giving advice and optimism and be crying on the inside?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You know, every morning I got up and I made a video for Instagram, for Twitter, for Facebook. And my videos were all upbeat, all inspiring, all motivational, big smile on my face, encouraging people that they can get through the day. And right after I would be done with it, I was pretty much in tears because I still had to go through my crap. And so what I've learned to do is find my own inner resources. Another thing I got from the Stoics is that the very thing we're going through is designed to build a strength that we didn't even know we had. The challenge is to develop a latent power that wasn't being developed because we were kind of coasting. But now that we're facing something that is bigger than what we thought we could handle, we actually grow into handling it. I've been the same way. I've had to learn to be a different person, to act in different ways, particularly through a divorce when I'm being challenged in ways that in the past I might have rolled and just played the nice guy. Well, today I'm the nice guy with a little bit of a boundary and a tough edge to it. I had to learn to do that. So there's a balance between having faith in myself, helping other people, building my future, still growing, still healing, still motivating myself and getting through the day just like everybody else.
Let's talk about your very successful mentoring program. It's called Zero Limits.
Yeah, Zero Limits Mentoring. One of my most famous books is called Zero Limits. And really where I'm going in my mission to help people is to teach them that there are actually no limits. Yes, I know we believe we have limits. Yes, I know we will argue for our limits. Yes, I know we can go and find so-called evidence that there are limits. But I'm coming from the stance that the only limits are mental constructs. That means what you're thinking is creating the opportunity or the limit. And what I'm doing with Zero Limits Mentoring is helping anybody who's willing to join the club, so to speak, to start to think differently, to start to act differently. These are people who never thought that they can have their own business. They're putting up online businesses. Some of them are doing brick and mortar businesses. So what I've done is create Zero Limits Mentoring, and I've given everybody a 2-week pass. They can go in for 2 weeks, no cost, go and devour everything that's being offered, go on the calls, go into the library, research all of this material, start to apply it, and see what kind of zero limits life that they can create from it.
Joe, how does somebody know when they need somebody like you?
Well, I don't know that they need me in specific, but I think we all need somebody to lift us out of our own limitations. Throughout my whole life, I have turned to mentors. I have turned to authors. I didn't know what the word coaching meant back when I was growing up. We only had little league coaches and football coaches. I didn't know about self-development coaches, but anybody who is trying to do something they've never done before can probably utilize a good coach or mentor, whether it's me or somebody else. When I was learning how to be a strong man, which is the vocation of bending steel and bolts and nails and hammering nails through boards with your hand, I got mentors to do it. When I wanted to become a musician, I'm now a musician. I got 15 albums out there. I got vocal teachers. I got a saxophone teacher. I got somebody to teach me guitar. Whenever you want to do something you've never done before, you probably need help. And there's always available somebody who's a coach, a mentor, counselor that can help you do it.
Dr. Joe, thank you so much for your words of wisdom and your dose of optimism on this day. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you on again soon. We're going to end with your website, which is vitalelifemastery.com. Dr. Joe, thanks one more time.
Of course, anytime you like.
And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.